In episode 3 of season 2, Realtor Tina Morris shares expert insights on Richmond's real estate investments and local treasures alongside her charitable passions. Tune in for invaluable advice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Between the Cracks podcast. I'm Madden.
And I'm Matt.
And today we're going to take you into the exciting journey of a successful real estate agent, which is such a surprise, we know. Today we're interviewing Tina Morris of Tina Morris & Company with Keller Williams Midlothian.
We always bring on such good agents. You know what I mean? They are absolutely some of the best agents around.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the agents. I mean, we love all of our agents. But we definitely have some really successful ones that have agreed to come on and talk to us. And we learned such valuable things about the real estate industry by talking to them.
Hopefully we can get all the other ones on too, because we really do. We have honestly, I think we have some really good ones out there. I just love talking to them. So.
Me too. Well, that's my job. But I love talking to all the different real estate agents. And I think with Tina, we definitely learned more about new construction and just a lot more about like the way payment for agents works. It was not something I'd really considered until we sat down with her.
That's right. So let's talk to Tina and find out what she has to say.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Between the Cracks podcast. I'm Madden.
And I'm Matt.
And today we're joined with the lovely Tina Morris of the Tina Morris Real Estate Team, or Tina Morris & Company.
Tina Morris & Company.
Yes. So Tina, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in real estate?
So first off, hello everyone. Good morning. I got started in real estate by mistake, in a sense. My husband and I were thinking about investing. We started becoming interested in investing in real estate. And actually, we were listening to the Bigger Pockets podcast, which I'm sure a lot of people know about. And at the time, I was a stay-at-home mom. We had 4 kids, so things were busy. But it was kind of, he was working outside the home. And for me, it was like my hobby. So I started to get really into that. And I started working with some real estate agents to help us buy our first property. And I realized that I did a lot of the work. And I went through a couple of real estate agents and wound up using one. But in the end, things were missed on the inspection. We weren't using Burgess at the time. So that was our first mistake.
Appreciate that call out.
Yeah. There's a little plug for you guys. But yeah, no, it just made me realize that there was a need for some good real estate agents, but I didn't even think at that time, like, let me get started. I thought to myself, okay, I really use these agents to open doors for me. I was finding the properties, I was running the numbers. So why don't I get my license? Which I did. But when you have 4 children and people hear about what you're doing, it quickly led to, well, can you help me do the same thing? And I'd love for you to take a look at this house with us. And so it kind of evolved, if you will. It wasn't a conscious decision. It just happened. So, which is great. And I love it.
Good.
Do you have a lot of investment properties now?
Sadly, no. But we're ramping up to do it again in the middle of, me getting my license. My husband wound up losing his job and was out of work for a couple years. So we did end up liquidating what we did have. But it kind of gave me that happening was a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because that's when I really ran with my business. That's when I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this a business. So we're finally getting to a place where we can probably start investing again. We have 2, my second daughter is graduating from college this year, and then we've got 2 more to go. So just, life. But we we definitely, our goal is to get back into doing that, because I really do believe that's the best way to acquire wealth and financial freedom. So,
yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing about investment properties.
yeah. And Richmond is such a right place for it because we're still reasonably priced compared to the rest of the country, which is why you have so much movement coming from Northern Virginia and California. I mean, we have investors just, looking out for our city and trying to get in there.
Yeah, I tell you, my wife and I, we talk about it all the time, and we always want to get involved in investing, but we always get scared about it. Is there anything that you can say that for somebody that's kind of afraid to pull the cord?
Well, I think if you have somebody who is helping you with a process, right, the right agent to kind of help educate you in terms of, what are your goals? Are you looking to hold something long-term? Are you looking for an Airbnb property? And then once you decide what your goals are, then it's okay, let's look at these properties. I will tell you, for on-market properties right now, it's very hard to cash flow if you're financing a long-term property. It's not impossible. And if you happen to be handy or have people that could help you with renovations, then you could do really, really well. But financing right now with rates where they are and prices where they are, it is a little tough, but it's not impossible. So I guess my advice would be, don't be scared. Don't wait. People have been waiting. They've been waiting, and prices are not coming down. So, and you could also look at other markets. You don't have to look at just Richmond, like Ohio, for instance.
Yeah.
No, really.
That's where he's from. He loves Ohio.
I mean, I will tell you, rents are up and prices are down there. So it's a great place to invest, especially if you know the area.
I got to make sure my wife hears this one.
Yeah, I know. That's like, we got to go back to Ohio.
No, I mean, it's something I'm thinking about. It depends on what your budget is,
Sure.
So that would be a good way to break into real estate investing.
All right. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. You're
Now
welcome.
he's excited for his trip to Ohio.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's like, this is good. Can I catch a football game while I'm there?
You definitely have to go during college football season for sure.
Absolutely.
So I know you've been working on your marketing and training your team. Have you had much time for clients this year, or has it just been focusing on your business side?
No, I've had time for clients. It's funny. We experienced a little bit of a quiet time in our business. It was like August and July, August, September. I was getting worried. And then funny enough, October, November, December rolls around and I could not be busier. I'm probably going to have my best month in real estate in December.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
The month we're in. Thank you.
I've seen you do a whole bunch on social media right now, and I'm like, oh, good.
Yes.
Got stuff going. Things are happening.
So just the opposite. So I'm actually been working with my clients quite a bit, and I do have a new marketing person that I love, but I'm kind of reorganizing my business right now. So I'll be bringing on somebody else who will be supporting us.
Nice.
And hopefully another buyer's agent too. So
Good.
the team piece is still evolving. I love who's there, but we need some more support because we're going to grow. That's our goal this year.
Good.
So yeah.
Ours too.
Yeah.
Good. Well, good. Well, maybe we can help one another do
right.
that.
Absolutely.
So then we were at an event recently, and they were talking about the NAR court case, and we kind of just want to get some real estate opinions on that. So what do you think about it?
So that's such a good question. And, I don't know. There's so many things to think about it, to be quite honest with you. Initially, I heard about it and thought to myself, we as agents never go into a client and tell them that they have to do anything. And we completely explain to them how the industry works, what the standards are, and what they're signing at the time. So at first, hearing about the court cases, I felt like it was a little unfair. I know that there are more and more and more cropping up, and I expect there to be more and more and more. Is it going to change the industry? Absolutely. And, maybe for the better in terms of now, instead of certain language that we use when we work with our clients, we're choosing better terms so that our sellers feel they have a choice in what they are paying. So I do think it's going to change our industry. I don't think it's going to change our industry significantly, at least initially. I think the good coming from it is we'll educate our sellers a little bit more on the process. The other advantage I see from this court case is that buyer agents are really going to have to show their value to their clients if they want to get paid. I'm not saying they don't do that already. They really, no, they do. But I think that they're going to have to verbalize it and have the buy-in, have their client agree to the commission that they're going to be making from the beginning of that relationship. So unfortunately, I know there are new court cases cropping up every day. I think one was, or at least I read about one with Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett yesterday. I think that's going to continue. It's just a trend and you're going to continue to hear about it. And I actually did have my first seller tell me that he wasn't going to pay more than a certain percentage because of the lawsuits.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm hearing about it. I'm definitely hearing about it. And then when I explained to him what we do and why we do it and why he, my recommendations if he wanted to sell his home for the highest price, he agreed.
Yeah.
So it's just a conversation that we're going to start to have.
Yeah, just let them know that you're not hiding it. You are open with what you're doing, right?
Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Yeah.
I had no idea how the whole system worked before this job. And so just even reading about how it works has been crazy for the court cases.
Well, and I think that's probably the reason, like, people don't understand that really the way the industry has been is the seller covers commission for both agents. Right. And I don't think until you have a home to sell do you really know that. A lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that when we sold our first home. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know it until we were getting ready to close. This is the first time I heard that I had to pay for both.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, Here we go.
Well, and why, so I know the standard, the average is 6%. So yes, and I think because people don't know that, there's a misconception that agents make so much money. They are not realizing that that's getting split.
Yeah.
And so, in a way, the court case is educating people and bringing that to light, right? Which is great.
I've also, since starting this job, heard a lot about how important it is to even just have a real estate agent because you're not getting the most accurate information on Zillow or any of the online websites. And I was reading an article to prepare for this earlier about the court cases, and they were like, is it going to change? Are people not going to use buyer's agents? And I was like, well, that would be stupid.
Yes, no, exactly. But, and will that happen? Maybe a little bit. But I do think that the people who choose not to work with an agent will be at a disadvantage. Take the market right now. It's still very much a seller's market. Okay. If you go into a home, we're still dealing with multiple offers. And if you go into a home unrepresented, you have no idea how to finagle that scenario, how to deal with that situation. So even for new construction, you really should have somebody who's looking out for your best interests. So all around, I think it's definitely, I do think it's something we'll start to see, but I do think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage to not have somebody by your side.
For new construction, how does the payment work for that?
So oftentimes, depending on the builder, actually, no, all builders, you have your bigger box builders, right? Like your Ryan Homes or Stanley Martin, they have site agents. And those agents work on site and they work for the builder. When you're a buyer, oftentimes people they think they'll go into the model, they start talking to the site agent, and the site agents are very, very helpful. But they work for the builder at the end of the day. They don't think that they need representation. Your commission as a buyer's agent, or the commission as a buyer's agent, is already calculated in the numbers of their sale price. So the fact that you walk in there and then don't have representation, you're still paying the same price. You're not getting a discount because you've decided to not bring an agent along with you, okay? If you bring an agent along with you, the builder does pay it. They're usually at discounted commissions because the site agent does quite a bit. And with new construction, there are certain things you don't do. But it doesn't make sense not to have that extra person in your court looking out for you. I've had cases where the builder wasn't done with the build and it was closing time. So we pushed to have money escrowed into an account that once the builder completed that work, then it was released. Without having that representation, nobody would even know to do that. They would have closed. And this has happened in more than one case. And some really good builders, it happens. Life happens, right? During COVID, things got backlogged and, things weren't available. So, it's like, it's hiring an attorney. Would you have title work done without an attorney? Never, right? So it's kind of the same idea.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. We definitely see quite a bit of new construction closing dates be pushed back or whatever, just because of whatever happens.
We see so many too that don't have agents.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of new construction. And quite honestly, this is the first time I've heard that. And I wonder, is it being disclosed to them that, hey, you should get a buyer's agent because you're paying it anyways?
No. So typically what happens is in the model, you walk in and the site agent is there and she'll take down your name or she'll have you sign in. And in the sign-in book, it says, are you working with an agent? So if you are, you write it down. Now, I have buyers and Chesterfield County has a lot of new construction, right? So I work. A lot of my business is done in Chesterfield County. So I let my buyers know, look, explore, go to open houses, go to models. But if you do talk to somebody there and they ask you if you have an agent, make sure you tell them that you do. That could easily get missed. And that's what happens there, Question for you guys, am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I know with the challenging sellers market, you're probably not seeing the same amount of inspections as you've been. I know I recently we had one of your guys come out for a walk and talk, which was wonderful. So how is it going for you guys? Are you seeing any changes or more business coming through recently?
Yeah, recently, yes. November was our best November in probably the last couple years.
Good.
So we started seeing some upticks, and in the past couple weeks, compared to the same weeks in the previous past years,
yeah.
It's been the second best over the past 5 years, the last 4 weeks, and it just keeps.
Okay.
So we're definitely seeing an uptick from what we had over the last couple of years. Not quite where we want to be yet.
Sure.
But we're definitely seeing an uptick. So
we've seen some agents who, hadn't used us in a couple months and they call back and they're like, oh, we just haven't been doing inspections. And now we are. And I'm like, good, please. Please continue to get inspections. That's fabulous. Yes. And we've, pretty consistently we had new construction inspections happening.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest, most steady things we've had is the pre-drywalls, the new constructions, and the 11-month warranties and those sorts of things. So, and I'm glad that we start seeing the upticks, because I just feel bad for people that, I understand why, but I feel bad for them when they
I
have to get a
know.
house and they can't
They
check it
can't get the
out.
I
inspection.
agree 100%.
So-
Yes. Yeah. No, it'll be nice to have a more level playing field for our buyers.
For sure.
For sure. It's been a tough market for them.
So I know you primarily work in Chesterfield County, but like, what are some favorite places in Richmond that you like to either list or go to yourself, or?
So, that's a great question. So I personally love the Fan area, and actually we had some family in for Thanksgiving and from out of town. So, you always want to show them your city. And we, of course, took them to the Jefferson this time of year. Who doesn't love the Jefferson? It is so beautiful and so grand. But in addition to that, we actually did a tour of Richmond. We paid for a walking tour of Richmond, which I'd never done. And it was so good. And our tour guide took us through Jackson Ward and, Shaco and like just all different areas. But we went over to the Capitol building and the whole Capitol area over there. And something that I have never seen before, and was really impressed with, is there's this Virginia women's like monument. Are you guys aware of it?
I've never seen it, but I do know that it's down there. Yeah.
It's called Voices from the Garden.
Okay.
And it's, it's like a square, and there are life-size statues of our important women in history. And it was just so impressive. Like Pocahontas is there. I'm trying to think who else. It's definitely something to go take a look at. I was
Nice.
so impressed with it. And just that whole area, actually, where the Capitol building is and the governor's mansion. Like, you just never think to go over there to look at, why would you? And so knowing that we have that there was really neat.
It is cool. Yeah.
And Hollywood Cemetery. I love Hollywood Cemetery. So I do enjoy the history that Richmond has to offer.
Yeah. Okay. And then to wrap up, I just wanted to ask you what your favorite charity is, or your favorite charities.
Well, I'm glad you said charities. Actually, in our neighborhood, there's a family who I've actually worked with in the past. And she created this not-for-profit not long ago called Nest Academy. So her son has cerebral palsy, and he's older now. And he enjoys classes and different things, but there's not much out there to really entertain him with or educate him with. So she created this academy, which is comprised of different classes now that are being offered for these types of individuals, people with Down syndrome and mental challenges and handicap disabilities. So she's getting that up and running. So that's called Nest Academy. And her passion for it's amazing, and it's such a great cause. And then I was involved for a short period of time with River City Givers. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They are a group of women. Their goal is to get to 100, but they meet quarterly. And what's so cool about it is they allow their members to pitch different charities in the area. So, and what's so nice about that is you find out about all of these smaller charities that you would never find out about. But they have 3 members each quarter. They get together, they pitch their charity, and then everybody votes on which charity they like best, and everybody contributes $100. So I believe they're like 60 people strong now. So each quarter, $6,000 goes to this charity, and then $6,000 will go to another charity. So they're just touching different places and organizations. But it's just such a great group to be a part of, to gain awareness of all the great, programs that are going on in our city.
Yeah, I love that.
That's the third one I've heard about that's very similar to that pitch.
We had Emily Milheiser. She's with Caritas. She was on with us, and she's with a group of women that do the exact same thing. I can't remember the name of
Impact
that.
100.
Was hers Impact?
Okay.
Impact 100.
I thought that's awesome. There's so many of those out there. I like that.
And I don't know if you've heard, when I was talking to our last guest, she was part of Mom Prom, and they fundraise for different charities each time as well.
Yes. So that's funny. I actually contributed to Mom Prom. One of my agents from past years was very involved in Mom Prom too. And same exact thing. And that's a great organization as well. Not only is it, the cause wonderful, but the event is a lot of fun too.
Yeah, no, we've heard a lot of them. I think those are really cool charities.
Oh, absolutely.
They give to so many different people.
Yes. Yeah, no, I love it.
Now, do charities like that, do they have a way for people to donate to them, or are they just their own donators?
They are their own donators. But of course, I guess the way to get involved there would be to become a member. But yes, they are their own donators.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I just loved the educational piece of it, just learning about all these different,
Sure, absolutely.
programs that are going on in our city.
We were just talking about that too. It's so hard to know what charities are out there and available.
Yeah, you have no idea. I heard about one where there's actually a house that is funded, and they house teen moms who don't want to have an abortion, but they're going to put their child up for adoption, but they have nowhere to go. So I love that, domestic abuse, so many different great programs out there that we can all contribute to and take part in and support.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I wish we had a comprehensive list of all the different charities and what they did, right?
That would be amazing.
Didn't Emily say there was somewhere that you could find?
She said there was, I forget what, I'd have to go back and look at that one, but she said there was someone out there that, they don't have all of them, but
they
do
have
talk
a
about
good
a lot of us.
list.
So somebody's working on a database.
Of the different charities, yeah. But that's why we asked
I'd love to
this
have somebody
question.
that you could go to a website you go to and just look up every single charity that's available in the area and what they do and how to contact them. That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
how to give, and that's one of our favorite questions to ask, because we hear so many different answers, and it's fabulous to know about it all.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. Because otherwise, if you don't, it's not something you hear about every day. So
No.
Yep.
you've got to pose the question.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for having me. This
Thank you
has
for coming on.
probably been the highlight of my week.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad we got the
Thank you so
schedule.
much.
Yeah, no, of course. You are so welcome. I enjoyed it. I'll come back. Just let me know.
We want to thank Tina again for coming in and talking to us. We found it really valuable, and we hope you guys did too. And we talked with her, as we do with all of our guests, about their favorite charities, because that's really big for our mission, vision, values here at Burgess.
Absolutely. We do a lot for charities, or we try to, and we continue to try and get better at that. That's one of the reasons why, honestly, we started doing this podcast, was just to find out what was important to other people and see if we could play a role in helping out those people as well.
Absolutely.
That's one of our biggest values that we have here at Burgess Inspections, is to help others.
Well, definitely. And as a gift for all of the guests who come on, we do make a contribution towards their favorite charity, or in that case, we ask for a whole bunch because we want to know what charities are. And I don't know if you guys remember, but last quarter we did a big food drive for the Chesterfield County Food Bank. And we did we ended up with 362 pounds of food, which was very exciting. And we donated all that. We kept the food drive going. And so we still collect food at all of our inspections if people are kind enough to give. And it was really funny. The other day, we actually had a couple who had just gotten an inspection with us that had forgotten to give the food they brought to the inspectors. They came by the office to deliver the food to us. And that was just really awesome.
That is awesome. I mean, they could have just said, oh, we forgot about it, maybe next time or whatever. But they took time to actually drive over here to do that. And then where were they? Where was that inspection? You remember?
I don't
Somewhere
remember.
in Henrico, right?
I believe it was Henrico.
So,
And they brought 13 pounds of food.
yeah.
They found a lot in their pantry.
Yeah, that's right.
It was fabulous. And we really appreciate the community and everything that we have.
Yes. So, thank you to those people and anyone that's watching. If you ever are on another inspection, please bring some stuff if you can to help others out. So that's one of the things we're trying to do here. Another one that we're working on rolling out soon is kind of a more simple one and doesn't involve as much, but we're going to start doing a roundup for charity.
Yep.
On our inspection. So if someone books an inspection for $323, we'll ask them to round it up to $325 to donate to a charity, and we're going to do a different charity each quarter with that. So
yes.
Hopefully that's another way we can give back, and we're looking forward to doing a few more things as well.
Absolutely. I know it's so much fun to come up with exactly how we're going to give back each quarter. And I know we have like a plan for it. And it's just a lot of fun to be able to share it with others.
Absolutely. So definitely come on out, have some fun with us, and bring some food with you if you can. And we do thank everybody for helping out whenever they can.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in today.
And don't forget to like us, follow us, and share us on your favorite social medias. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Between the Cracks podcast.